Hello everybody, welcome in. We're going to be using these videos to go through our Efficient Frontier project, and hopefully by the end of the Efficient Frontier you'll have something similar to what you see here. We're only going to be doing 4 stocks for our project, but hopefully what you'll see here is having 4 different stocks, and then you'll have the weights that we're going to invest in those 4 stocks, the expected return and standard deviation that we get from them. And ultimately we'll be able to draw this nice bullet graph where we have the actual efficient frontier and expected return and standard deviations of the stocks based on historical data. So in phase 1 of the project, we're going to be working with the efficient frontier template here that's provided on D2L. So what we need to do first is to go through and collect the data, right? So we need stock prices, we need dates. Ultimately, we're going to calculate the returns from that data. All right. Once we get returns, we can calculate the mean return, standard deviation of returns. We'll calculate the correlation between all 4 of these stocks. We'll calculate the covariance using the correlation. And then what we're going to do is use these to calculate the portfolio return and the portfolio standard deviation. After that's done, we'll be using Solver. So in a future session, we're going to install Solver and run Solver to actually calculate how much we're going to invest in these 4 stocks to maximize return for a given level of risk. Once we do that for enough returns here, we're going to get that nice bullet graph, and our returns and standard deviations are also going to be plotted on this efficient frontier. Right? So let's go ahead and start. We need to get 4 different stocks. You can choose any 4 stocks you want. I'm going to go to Internet Explorer here. Chrome, Firefox, they're all great. I believe Yahoo recommends Firefox. I typically use Chrome. I'm using Internet Explorer for this tutorial. So we're going to go to finance.yahoo.com. You could also do yahoo.com/finance. It'll take you to the same page. Right? Now what I'm going to do is come down to Quick Lookup. On some versions of Yahoo Finance, this Quick Lookup is going to be over on the left-hand column here. You just might have to look around for it. So I'm going to go ahead and refresh the page to make sure that that I'm dealing with the version of the web page that's actually working. All right, scroll down here, and I'm going to go ahead and pick my first stock. I'm going to choose something techy. So I'm going to go with Amazon. Let's say I don't actually know the ticker. I can search for Amazon, and that should pull up. If it's working, that should pull up the ticker, which it's not. All right. I think this might just be a problem with Internet Explorer. Like I said, I usually use Chrome, so let me switch over. Okay. Oh, I might have to switch to Chrome for future stocks. For now, we can select Amazon. And now that we're at the Amazon page, you'll see that we can do several different things here. We can look at summary statistics, look at their charts. What we're really interested in is historical data. All right. If we go back to our Excel template, we'll see that we have roughly some 1,260 entries for prices. That's going to equate to 5 years. Okay, so we need the last 5 years of prices. I'm going to go ahead and enter that time period here. Rather than just click 5 years, I'm going to manually enter the dates to make sure I get what I want. I want to start at January 23rd, 2012 and go to January 24th, 2017. I do the extra day there just so I have another day to calculate returns for 5 years. If I have 5 days of prices, I can calculate 4 days of returns. If I have 10 days of prices, I can calculate 9 days of returns. So if I want 5 years of returns, I need 5 years and 1 day of prices. So I'm going to backdate this 5 years and 1 day. You don't have to use January 24th as your end date. You can use whatever date you want. So I'm going to head and click done. I want daily frequency, historical prices, and make sure you click apply. If you haven't clicked apply, then downloading the data is going to download whatever you searched for last. All right, that's loading. And now I want to download the data. So on some versions of Yahoo Finance, if you're dealing with an older Internet Explorer, something like that, this button may be at the bottom of the data. So what I'm going to do on a PC, I'm going to right click and go to Save Target As. This is really important, especially on Macs, I believe. If you just click on it, it'll take you to a text document with the comma separated values. So what I want to do here is I'm just going to save this in an area where I know I can access it, like my desktop, and I'm going to name it Amazon. All right, make sure that we're saving it as comma separated values. Go ahead and click Save, and that's going to download. So now what I want to do, if I'm on a PC, I can usually just click Open. If I'm on a Mac, sometimes you need to actually go into the Excel program. So go into Excel, and you're going to want to open the file, computer, I saved it to my desktop, and then go ahead and open that file. Like I said, if you're on a, you need to switch it to CSV or all files. Here, we'll pull it up. If you're on something else, for example, if you're on a PC, then you can just simply click the open button and it should open in Excel. All right, so I'm going to inspect the data real quick. I have prices from January 23rd, 2017 down to January 23rd, 2012. All right, now I don't need the open, high, low, close, or volume for Amazon stock. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those. I want the adjusted close, so that basically takes the closing price of Amazon, but it also adjusts for stock splits, dividends, and gives you a general feel for total return. All right, so I'm going to just label this column Amazon. All right, and now I'm going to highlight. All right, so I'm holding the Shift key, or you could just simply highlight it manually. That just takes a little longer. I'm going to hold the Shift key. All right, hit the right arrow to select columns A and B for cell 1. Right, and then I'm going to hold the Control key. What the Control key does is skip down to where text starts or stops. So I'm holding Shift, Control, and hitting the down arrow, and that's going to highlight all of the data that I have here. All right, I'm going to copy, either right-click and copy, use this button here, or hit Control-C. All right, and now I'm going to go into the Efficient Frontier template, and I'm going to Control-Alt-V, all right, which gives us paste special, and I'm just going to paste the unformatted code. I'm using an older version of Excel, so so I might come up here and I'll just paste the data here. I would rather just paste the values. If paste values is something that you can do, go ahead and do that. All right, so I just match destination formatting, so that should keep dates in the date format and prices in the decimal format. All right, I go down to the bottom here, and it looks like I have 1 day too many. All right, so just the way that the 5 years fell, January 24th is actually 5 years and 1 day ago. All right, with the leap years and all. So I can go ahead and delete that, and now I have 5 years of prices for Amazon. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and calculate the returns for Amazon. All right, this is going to be done one of two ways. All right, we can use our typical formula for calculating returns and equals. All right, the typical formula is going to be our new price. All right, so that's January 23rd, 2017. All right, divided by our old price, January 20th, 2017. Okay, and then subtract off 1. All right, so now we're basically getting our capital gains and subtracting off the initial investment. All right, so we had a 1.8% return on that day. Another way that we can do this is equal the log, the natural log, ln, of January 23rd divided by January 20th. Okay, that's also going to give us 1.17. Fairly close. The natural log accounts for continuous compounding rather than discrete compounding. Right, so we can do that either way. Another formula we could use is the new price minus the old price, right, divided by the old price. This is the same as the first formula we used. Algebraically, it's just manipulated a little bit. Right, 1.18. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with this, and if I double click here on the box, that's going to drop all the way down. So now I can look all the way down here, and I have returns for 5 years. All right, I'm going to delete this bottom cell, and now I have returns for just 5 years rather than 5 years and 1 day. All right, I'm going to go ahead and format this cell as normal. That's not going to affect anything. Okay, so now that you're at this point, you can pick out 3 other stocks and move on to phase 2. Right? If you want a little more help, I'm going to stick around and I'm going to pick 3 more stocks, calculate the returns 3 more times, and then I'll move to phase 2 as well. All right, but you now know enough to move on to phase 2 and start calculating the daily returns and daily standard deviations. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Yahoo Finance, and I'm going to search maybe something a little less techy, maybe something in the financial industry. Let's do something like Chase. If I don't know Chase again, I can search for Chase, and I get JP Morgan Chase, JPM. All right, let's go ahead and go to that company. It's already pulling up historical data. It's not pulling up the time frame that I want. Right? I know that 1/24/12 and 1/24/17 are the dates I want now from the last time I did the search. Click done. I want daily historical prices. I'm going to click apply. Right? And as soon as this is done downloading, now I have my data. I'm going to right click, save target as. I'm going to save this as JPM. Right, now that it's completed, I can hit open, and this should open a new spreadsheet. I'm going to delete the 5 middle columns. You don't have to expand the date column. I'm doing that just out of habit. It's good to inspect your data, make sure that you have the right dates in there. I relabel this the JP Morgan column just because I don't want to get confused when I go to a different spreadsheet. All right, inspecting the data, looks like it's all there down to 1/24/12. So I'm going to take just this second column now, Control C to copy, go to my template, and I'm going to paste the values. All right, so I want just the values, and that's going to paste. Right? Now, I don't have to calculate the same formula. I can just drag this over, drag it down, and now I have returns for Amazon and Chase Bank. All right, let's do this a few more times. Let's get something like Walmart. I thought it was WAL. Be sure to check down here. It's actually WMT. Okay, so I'm going to take 5 years of returns, 5 years of daily historical prices for Walmart. Okay, I'm going to download the data, save target as WMT. Remember, make sure you're saving it as a comma-separated values file. If you're using a Mac, be sure to actually open up Excel and open the CSV file with Excel. The alternative to that, if you're actually looking at the file, you can right-click and open with the certain software, Excel in this case. All right, again, I'm going to inspect the data. Looks like the dates are correct. So I'm going to delete these 5 middle columns, relabel the adjusted close column, and I'm going to go ahead, Control C, copy there, and paste that. I'm going to paste the values in the prices, and I'm going to get the returns. All right, double check the bottom. See, so it's carrying over the division by 0. I'm going to delete those, format those cells as normal. All right, so I need one more company. I want a diversified portfolio to get a better efficient frontier. If we pick all stocks from the tech sector, we're not going to be very diversified, and we're going to get a bad efficient frontier. If I pick diversified stocks, even though it's only 4, I'm going to get somewhat of a better efficient frontier aesthetically. So I have tech stock, I have a retail stock, financial stock. So I'm going to do something from the energy industry. I'm going to go with Chesapeake Energy, CHK. All right. Now that that's loaded, I want 5 years of daily historical prices. I'm going to go ahead and save that data, CHK, comma separated values file. Open this, inspect the data, delete the 5 middle columns, relabel the column header. I'm going to select using Control-Shift down, and then I'm going to copy that into my templates file. All right, now I'm going to go through and close out of Amazon, JP Morgan. I don't want to save the changes. Close out of Amazon also. Close out of Chesapeake. Close out of Walmart. All right. I'm going to calculate the returns for Chesapeake. Make sure that go to some random cell here and make sure that your equation's still right and carrying over right. I'm using the Chesapeake price from December 29th divided by the Chesapeake price from December 28th. So it looks like I'm using the right prices to calculate the correct returns. All right. Again, go down here, delete, and format the cell as normal. All right, so now we have completed phase 1 of the project. We've got the data. That's the hard part. Now we can go forward. All of these returns have carried over into our next sheet. So I'll see you in phase 2.